first testimonial of the night. Hold tight. Got to get to the date. You guys should see how much good stuff I have written right here. Let's go with Kathy Peters. Are you out there, Kathy?
I am.
In Hawaii.
In Hawaii.
Yeah.
Fresh
Oh, look.
from Iowa.
Where's I had my special glasses I was going to put on just, you know what? When I got to tell you something. Oh, I have them. Hold on. Now check me out. Look at this.
Oh, that's good. I know those.
You guys, what's great is Kathy actually sent these to us. She sent us these glasses with a care package, and it was just a thank you for the care package. That was the most kind, generous thing ever. And I love my new glasses. I'm not going to keep them on the whole time, but I was like saving them just so that I could make sure to wear them. That is so fun. Kathy, where are you calling in from?
Hawaii.
Okay, very cool. Mm-hmm. And just so that people, kind of know your story a little bit better, I want to tell everybody you are a Heart of ER Shred. You are very important to us. You're just unbelievably awesome. I know you were an ISA Body finalist, and so was your husband, Randy. Right. And so just by way of introduction, just letting everybody know that. And who was it that originally shared ER Shred with you?
Melissa Barkell, and then Lane and Shirley McNeil.
Yeah, yep. Love those people.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
Joyful people.
I love those people you just mentioned so much. I feel like I know them very well. That's the weird thing, is when you feel like, when you connect with your tribe, like when you feel like you've known them for your whole life and you really haven't even met in person yet. It's going to be pretty special, Kathy. I thought about that, you and me and Crystal, Randy, we sit down and talk like in person. Oh man.
Yeah. And Shirley and Lane are coming here the end of April. And of course, when Melissa was here, we hooked up, which is where this whole thing began, with that picture we took that mortified my soul.
Well, speak to it. How long ago was that?
October. She was here the end of August, and then I got all involved, actually maybe September, and I got involved with ER Shred October 11th, after I went in and read every guide and really educated myself on what I had on hand, what could I do with it, because I was a dairy-free girl, because I couldn't digest the shakes very well until I learned about the incubation. So they walked me through it, how to get started with what I had, and then my order came. So
wow. So shout out to Chief Shreducator, who is responsible for those guides, Heather Sika Leonard. I always want to give that shout out whenever anyone mentions the guides. Shout out to Peter Greenlaw for introducing us to incubation. You can do the shakes now, is that right?
I can do all of the shakes, the ones that need incubated. Absolutely. Biggest difference in the universe.
Wow, that's so cool.
So cool. So before that, so now this just.
Wasn't there some significance about the date of you sharing tonight? What was that significance?
Oh, yeah, there is. I turned 60 on Sunday, and my goal was around my 60th birthday. And I posted this morning about what my goal was in the ER Shred Facebook group. And I got sidelined halfway through, or maybe in January, that maybe my goal was too lofty for me, because my gold jeans that I had picked out were what I wore when I was an ISA Body finalist, when I was at my leanest on stage. And that was 8 years ago. So I had to really rethink that. And I kept getting disappointed every time I tried to pull those up over my butt, and they just stopped. So I changed it to the next size, and I posted all the sizes and all of my progress during the whole shred. But I I wanted to really relate that sometimes the goal that you set for yourself at first isn't the goal you end up with. And as long as you're moving forward, you're still moving, and you can change your goal. And my goal now is just to tone up, because I have been not as active as I could be. And I think that's going to make a big difference in my muscle tone. And I'm going to give those little tiny genes to Shirley, because she's little and tiny when they come here, but don't tell her.
Listen,
this
this is some very good stuff. This is really good stuff. I have to tell you, we got to talk about this for a minute. I visited with a woman just recently, and maybe you can be the teacher in the moment around this, because it speaks to what you're talking about. But I visited with a woman very dear to us, and she did say something of significance, something that I sensed. I sensed this, and I didn't, but you know, as a man, maybe I couldn't put my finger on it. I sensed it. I sensed something's off. And, but she basically opened up and was very vulnerable and confided that she loves ER Shred, that it worked so well for her in the beginning, so well. And she basically confided that, you know, she just doesn't feel, it's almost like she said she didn't feel qualified because she hadn't kept up those results. And you know, it was a worthiness thing for sure. Worthiness. What would you say to that?
Well, I'm the queen of that, because being an Isabody finalist meant a lot to me in the beginning of Isagenix in 2013 when I started. And I kept up with it for a long time, and then I fell off. And when I saw that picture with Melissa, I thought, oh my God, I can't possibly represent good health when I'm not healthy myself. So I feel her. Yeah. That was very important to me. And I snapped myself back into the process of finding myself. And I gave myself the grace to just jump back on board. And, you know, I really didn't want anybody to know that I messed up my Isabody finalist body, but I did. I just did. And I was probably struggling for maybe 8 months with just like, uh-oh, I feel puffy. Uh-oh, I don't feel good. I couldn't wear clothes and feel good in them. I was wearing the long things again and covering myself up. And I know how to do that so well, nobody noticed. I'm not a fashionista, but I know what covers stuff up. And now I was looking for, funny enough, looking for a t-shirt to wear this morning for my picture. And Randy was taking my pictures and he's like, those are all too long. You don't have the right shirt on. So he's going, you're pulling out all these crop shirts. I'm like, no, I'm not ready for that. But I only had one shirt that didn't go all, you know, full on over me. And I thought, wow, I really have to go through my closet. And that was joyful for me to figure out. So
I love that.
I totally hear her. Yeah. It's embarrassing.
You hear her, and your advice. What is your advice on that?
When you're ready, you'll know it. And when you're ready, jump back in full bore and do a shred and do it right, and have your mindset and be active and just commit to the 11 days. Like you said, give us 11 days in your live video. Give us 11 days, full on, full bore, no messing around. Because if you get in there and on day 4, you're like, oh, I feel pretty good because, you know, I just did 2 cleanse days, bam. And then you're on day 4 and you're like, oh, I can probably eat this. No, just stick to it. It's 11 days. It goes by like that. And then there you are. And you feel fantastic. And you're like, you're so happy with yourself that you just did it. And that's when you come alive. Like I came alive. I know you're going to ask me this. I might as well just tell you. I'll just take over this whole call. I came alive on day 3 or initially. And then every time I do a shred, I did 2 shreds back to back the first month in October. And I pretty much realized that this was going to help me reach my goal. And then I did every shred with the group. And I stayed true to the shake days, and I didn't deviate much at all. I did do some testing and found out some things that don't work well with me. But I didn't put one thing in my mouth that had sugar in it on purpose until my birthday. And I had a bite of cake, which I don't even like cake. But my nephew brought these little cakes and I was like, oh, I'll have a bite. And it was
I do
fine.
it, Kathy. I do it. My daughter will be like, "Hey, Daddy, look, I made bread," and I'm like, she's like, "You don't eat bread though, huh, Daddy?" And I'm like, "Oh no, baby, I'll eat your bread." And then I walk over and I'm like,
I know. I was like, oh God. But anyway, and my nephew brought matcha.
"Oh yeah,
Because I
matcha."
got back from Iowa, and I call him my sweet little baby nephew, but he's like 40. And he brought my sisters and me matcha over, and he usually brings me sugar-free. Well, that place was closed, and he brought this other one, and I could tell after the first sip that it wasn't the same. I said, "Is this different?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "Does this have sugar in it?" He goes, "Well, I don't know." So I drank it and got sick.
Oh shoot. Yep.
But I knew first sip in, but I didn't want to say anything. And he's so sweet. So
Yeah. Well, I think aren't we going to how are we going to approach this, Kathy? I want to have you help everyone. How are we going to approach this when we cave?
Mhm.
I mean, when we cave, when we're human, when we do what we know we shouldn't, when we give in a little and then it's a lot, and then we go into denial or whatever it might be. I really want to start. You know what I want to do? I want everyone to just shatter their scales. Like, it sounds crazy, but it's like I want everyone to just take out like sledgehammers and smash their scales. And I just hope that everyone, all the women out there, I hope with all my heart, someone very dear to me reached out to me just this last week, and she was emotional. And she said, "I don't know why I keep turning back to this stuff." And you know what? We determined through, some coaching, we determined that she's not eating enough of the right things. Have you been eating a lot, Kathy? Are you eating more than you would have prior to ER Shred? And has that served you?
Absolutely. We had a birthday dinner, and my other nephew made roasted chicken and Polish sausage and a big, huge pan of scalloped potatoes. And so he said, "Auntie Kathy, what do you want on your plate?" And I said, "Chicken and sausage." So he served it. And I just kept standing there, and he said, "Do you want more?" And I said, "Yeah, I do." I said, is there enough for everybody?" And I realized that there was. And he put this big, huge honking dark meat on my plate. And he says, "Do you want white meat?" And I said, "Yeah." Well, my other sister came in and snagged the white meat. So I was sitting there looking at this going, this is not enough food for me. And I snarfed the whole thing down like Mrs. Piglet had, because I was planning on this meal. And he goes, "Well, don't you want any potatoes?" I said, "I don't care for any, thanks." I didn't want any, so I didn't choose to eat it. I didn't want the cake, but I don't know why I did that, but I just felt compelled. But normally you can't make me put something in my mouth that I don't want in my mouth. The only thing I want in my mouth that I don't put there is my foot, and I do that a lot. But
Okay. But tell me what that empowerment, where's it coming from?
A place of well-being and passion for staying here. I mean, I just have this big, huge self-imposed, you've got this, and you're going to be here for the rest of your life. And I'm so motivated to stay here because I stayed there.
You're talking about yourself in third person, almost like the person before, like was not who you really, should have been. And
Right.
now you've realized yourself, you recognize yourself, and you're like, I'm not going to lose this person. I'm not going to lose me.
You always say, "I'm never going back." Sometimes you slide back. I slid back and I got back on a different train. It's the same train, different conductor. That's how I look at it. I'm under the ER Shred umbrella now, which makes complete sense to me. It's so easy. I traveled. I didn't go off of it on the plane. It was easier. It's easier.
Right.
I come home and I ask Randy, "What's for dinner?" He says, "Well, I got some meat and there's some shrimp and some poke in there." And I'm like, "Okay." And I was excited because that's what we eat. And when people come over to our house for dinner, we tell them, "We eat meat. If you want a side dish, bring it. Bring it, whatever you want, but we'll provide the meat." And so one of our friends is selling their house, and they have to come and stay with us because they're having an open house this weekend. And that's where we go every holiday. So they're coming over, and he says, well, should I bring anything? And Randy said, whatever you want that isn't meat. It's like, it was the truth. You know, we have the butter and we have the meat. We've got all the protein. And he says, well, I think you should make green bean casserole. And I said, I'll make it for you. You know, I have all the stuff, but I don't eat it. So it's been so mind-boggling, my energy level. And when I was in Iowa, I will tell you, this is very important. And I know I'm just kind of like leading my own conversation here, but my brother-in-law is 82. He takes care of my sister who has Lewy body dementia. He's 82. He has been on Isagenix since 2013 with me. True blue guy. So, but he just does it. He loves to take the cleanse and does it every day. So he brings out this plethora of vitamins that he was told by a chiropractor or somebody that would be good for him. So he said, if you're telling me that these Isoline Pro shakes have all the vitamins in it that I need and I don't need to take a supplement. And I said, I never said that. I said, you can choose to go through this and let's see what's in them. And line for line, we went through every line of what's in his vitamins, and one shake had twice as much as the daily dose of the vitamins that he was taking, paying $70 a bottle for.
Right.
And he was dumbfounded. I said, I'm not telling you to stop taking them, but wasn't this fun? He's like, yeah, so exciting. And he's like, oh my God, I had no idea. So that was news to me too. And these were high-end vitamins.
So
now,
cool.
A couple of these things were specialty vitamins. And I said, you do what you feel is right. But it was wonderful. And to see him be passionate about learning. So then I, of course, you can't shut me up once you open that door. So we talked about it for 6 days, all of us. And it was wonderful. And we enjoyed the food he made. And he says, it's so nice to not have to make a side dish. I said, right?
Don't you almost feel like, you know, do you feel like you're sharing more of an education than a product? That's what I feel like. I really like that.
Process. Yeah. And my sister, who just recently lost her husband of 57 years, this is my other sister. She's been in Isagenix too. So she's like, what is going on here? Because she was drinking the shakes with me and she was eating the meat with me. And I said, just eat what I eat. She said, okay. So she did. So like I was there 5 days. On the third day, normally we would have done a cleanse, but we didn't. So she says, I feel really good. I should be super duper tired. She's 80 years old. So I shared the shred with her and she instantly wanted to bring in all of her kids who were having problems. And like I was mentioning I was on a call in a different group and somebody came on and said they were using this Isagenix to gain weight. One of her kids needs that. So she got on a call with me. And that's never happened. She was so interested because she said, you're just like on fire. And then we would lay there on this hide-a-bed together, on this queen size hide-a-bed and gab for 3 hours every night. And she says, in the morning, I shouldn't be tired. And I said, have a shake. Let's have a shake. Let's put some butter in our coffee. And she was amazed. And right in front of my eyes, I saw her get it.
Yeah, you lit her. You're lit, and you lit her candle. I love that.
So dang, fun.
I love that.
Fun.
That's good stuff. Well, I actually took this in a way that wasn't intended, but it's just what was meant by fate to happen tonight. Is there anything else you wanted to say to shredders? In the way of an update or anything else, anything at all that you didn't cover?
Yeah, I want to tell you that what I have become passionate about that I didn't realize was missing from my life before ER Shred and maybe this birthday I just had was that my passion is living in the moment. Instead of thinking about the past and worrying about the future, I live in the moment. And I was on a book club call this morning and a real short little quip that came from it was, this lady had this wonderful scrambled eggs served to her in a restaurant. And she thought, God, these are the best scrambled eggs I've ever had in my whole life. They're so fluffy and buttery. I wonder how they made these. I wonder how I can reproduce it. She said, I did a full stop and thought, who cares? I should just enjoy this right now and enjoy the eggs and think about that later. Or the lion that flew off a cliff chasing something, knew he was going to fall to his death, but saw a strawberry on the way down, plucked it, and enjoyed this strawberry, full well knowing the end was near, but he enjoyed his strawberry. So this spoke to me just in this little book club that I'm in with my brother, living in the moment and not dragging the past with you and not worrying about all of the different facets of the future. Just be present and focused and listen when somebody's talking to you. Give them your full focus and attention, because that's what love is.
Beautiful, Kathy. Thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you so much.